Our countdown to opening day continues. We're just a couple of days away now, and in this video, Joe and I are going to be talking about our MVP award as well as all the other accolades that this team we think is going to get at the end of this season, which players we think are going to have some big years for the Seattle Mariners, and we're going to start it all off with Gold Glove, an award the Mariners knew quite a bit about last season, with Dylan Moore, of course, winning the Gold Glove for the utility position, and Cal Raleigh winning the Platinum Glove as the best defender in the American League. Joe, who do you have winning a Gold Glove this year?
Give me Victor Robles out in right field,
Ooh.
an outfielder, a true center fielder, known for his defensive prowess out there in center, more of like a, speed defense kind of guy when he was with the Nats. Didn't really fulfill the offensive part of his prospect pedigree. Maybe he does still come back in 2025 with some of the offensive production that we saw in 2024. But I'm expecting a good, healthy defensive year out of Victor, and I think it may warrant a Gold Glove.
So when I think about what Victor has done, obviously his very first attempt,
Yeah.
as a Mariner, he dropped a ball in left field, right? But overall, Victor's a guy that can play anywhere in the outfield as well as center and be a Gold Glove caliber guy. I think that's a good shout. Honestly, I didn't think about it.
You're welcome.
I was gonna go with JP Crawford as like kind of like a bounce back, kind of like coming back to what he has been, because he's looked really good defensively this spring. But I'm actually gonna go with Ryan Bliss. I think that Ryan Bliss has looked way better at second base than a lot of people have given him credit for. He's a guy that some people have said is not great defensively, but honestly, from what I've seen, when him and Perry Hill are doing drills and whatnot, he is the most locked in doing drills. Like some guys are just kind of nonchalant about it. They'll field it, just kind of like fake throw it. But like he is, making sure he's in the right position every single time. Like he is so dialed in on what they are learning out there when they're doing those positional drills. I think that honestly, he has a really decent chance to kind of surprise some people this year. I also thought about going with Julio, because I feel like that's a guy that
it's been a long time coming, I think, for Julio in the Gold Glove conversation.
Hasn't had the praises of how good his defense has become. It hasn't been sung. You know what I mean? And I think that he deserves it with how good he has been defensively. But Joe, we're gonna move on now to Rookie of the Year, which this is an interesting one because the Mariners don't really have any rookies breaking camp, as far as we know. I think Carlos Vargas would be a rookie technically, right? But overall, it's not like we don't have a Julio, out of nowhere, coming up and with a potential Rookie of the Year. Cole Young is going to start down in the minor leagues. We know that. Who do you have as your Rookie of the Year in 2025?
I need to check something really quick, actually, before I make my claim.
No, Ryan Bliss cannot be.
He's not. He has expired his rookie status. No, rookie status still intact through 2025, according to Baseball Reference. Pencil it in. Ryan Bliss, Rookie of the Year. He's your Gold Glove guy. He's my Rookie of the Year. If he's winning a Gold Glove for you at second base, or performing well enough at second base, he's got to do something right. Because I think a lot of he's got good range because we know he's a good athlete. I think the main thing was his arm strength, and just like his arm strength and like arm accuracy in general was the big kind of thing as far as his fielding is concerned. I think if he's worked on that and he's dialed it in, you're saying he's locked in, I think the fielding is not going to be a big problem for him. And of the players that I think can have enough impact that are still rookies, I think he has the best chance to have the quantity to make that big of an impact. If he's winning second base out of camp and he holds it down for the majority of the season, he's looking at 350, 400 at-bats. And if he's still doing that, playing good defense, stealing bags, that's like maybe a 2.5 win season on like the good end. I don't imagine him faltering as much and then Cole Young having to take his spot. I don't think a reliever would necessarily have enough juice unless they, put up like a 300 ERA plus. So I think Ryan Bliss would be my pretty easy pick, lock in for Rookie of the Year. But I could see it going a different way if he doesn't stick the full season.
Yeah, that's something I didn't really think about. I thought he had already gone past his limits for becoming rookie of the year or just being rookie status. But I'm going to go a different direction, and it's both a good thing and a bad thing. And I'm going to go with Ben Williamson is the Mariners rookie of the year in 2025, which means A, there was an injury to maybe Jorge Polanco, or B, he just didn't perform.
Yeah.
And I think that Ben Williamson comes up, takes over that third base role at like the end of May, and just kind of takes off with it. He's a guy who can win a Gold Glove as well, a guy that makes a lot of sense over there at third base. He'd be a much better defender than Polo, but is he going to hit enough? And we all know Polo didn't really hit that well last year. Neither did Josh Rojas. So, like, at worst, you probably just have Josh Rojas again.
Mm-hmm.
And at best, you have a guy that's hitting balls in the gaps, maybe hitting like 250, 260 for you with a decent amount of pop and playing great defense, who's probably ends up being like a 2 to 3 win player because of his defense alone. Kind of what we saw with like Dylan Moore. And if he hits a little bit, that's even better. So I think that with what Ben Williamson can bring to the table, he's a high floor, maybe not a high ceiling, but a pretty high floor guy to have over there at third base. That's just kind of my 2 cents. I think it'd be kind of fun as well.
I unfortunately, my pick for comeback player of the year is going to directly contradict rookie of the year for you.
Yeah.
So Polo hasn't struck out at all, really, during spring.
Really?
He struck out like 3 or 4 times, I think. Mariners Sir, I think, had a great post about like strikeout rates, whatever, related to Polo and what he's done this spring. If I remember correctly, it was 2 strikeouts and 32 at bats when I saw this post. That's pretty good. If the strikeouts aren't there, and sure, spring training stats maybe they don't matter that much.
He had a good spring last year.
He did have a good spring last year. Am I drinking the Kool-Aid? Am I, hook, line, and sinker? Maybe. But I also don't want to pick the exact same player as you. And I think we're doing a good job in diversifying our answers. Because I was leaning Polo anyways. And when you cemented your rookie of the year as Ben Williamson, that to me speaks that your comeback player of the year is not Jorge Polanco. And I don't want to double down with you. So I'm saying Polanco, he's going to have a 105 WRC plus. I think he plays 100, 110 games. It's not going to be a fully, a full season, but I think above average bat with defense that's not going to kill you, hopefully, if his knee is as healthy as he and his agent are wanting it to seem like, I have to assume that he's going to be able to field some ground balls at third, make some plays, and then hit better than he did last year.
I mean, it can't be any worse, right?
Well,
and another guy that it can't be worse for is Mitch Garver.
Correct.
However, he's not who I'm picking for comeback player of the year.
Bum,
I know.
bum,
A lot of people are thinking that, odd year Mitch Garver is going to be your comeback player of the year. And I think that he has the easiest route to do it. He was so bad last year, he can't be any worse, right? He provided no value for you defensively. He hardly played. He's a guy that didn't hit at all. Even Polanco had a better year than him offensively. And I think that Mitch Garver is the easy answer, which is why I'm not picking him. And I am instead picking JP Crawford, who I think is going to have a good bounce back year. I think he found something with his swing this offseason, which is something he's mentioned so far this spring as well, is that he feels better at the plate than he has in years past. Again, it could all just be spring training talk, right? But I think that comeback player of the year, we know that JP didn't have a great year last year compared to what he did in 2023. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to hit 20 home runs and be 2023 JP Crawford, who we all called the captain. Yeah. And now we call Cal Raleigh the captain last year. We'll see who the captain is this coming year. But I think that somewhere in between what he was in 23 and what he was in 24, I would consider that a comeback from him. What would be like a 110 OPS plus guy with some really good defense. That's a very valuable player. Probably a 3-win shortstop right there. And I would be bullish. I'm bullish on the fact that JP Crawford is going to be that guy in 2025. But Joe, something that, and I actually don't know, it probably would be Victor last year for the Unsung Hero Award because of just or maybe even Luke Raley as an Unsung Hero Award last year. But going into 2025, Joe, this is a little bit more interesting because again, we know we're running back the same team, but we also there's potential for major regression with Victor Robles or with Luke Raley. Who do you have as your unsung hero in 2025?
Man, I have a lean, and I think it's a pretty biased one.
Oh no.
What?
I think we picked the same one.
It's hard for me to not go with Donnie Barrels.
Damn it.
Because that feels like the veteran presence. You should have signed Turner. You didn't offer him a fair contract according to whatever was he said. So you defer to Donovan Solano, a guy that I've wanted for 2-3 off seasons at this point, to be a contact first stabilizing force in your offense, where he hasn't had a batting average below 280 since 2020, I think. And he's consistently just going to spray the ball all over the ballpark. Will be able to play first. Shout out Hobbit Avenger. They just subscribed. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out Hobbit Avenger. Real Hobbit Avenger fans in the comments right now. Ian, I know you're commenting it. All right. Anyways, he's going to spray the ball over the ballpark. He can play 3 positions in the infield. Sure, 2 of them not great. Maybe even all 3 not great. But he can play first, second, and third for you if you really needed him to. And it seems like a guy that would be willing to make sure that his team is in the best spot to win. And
I mean, yeah.
It's a very easy pick for an unsung hero because it's the veteran presence guy. It's the one that players are going to turn to if they're struggling or need like some sort of maybe like a vote of confidence or just like a shoulder to lean on. It's Donnie Baseball. It's Donnie Barrels.
I thought about going with Mitch Garver here, but instead, Joe, I'm going with Rowdy Tellez.
All right.
He's going to be the unsung hero of this team. Hey guys, it's me, Rowdy Tellez.
Cheater.
Unsung hero. Cheater. I think that being able to move Luke Raley back to the outfield, and it's not going to be like necessary. Yes, I think he'll be fine, like offensively. I think he'll be all right. He'll at least get the job done. He'll probably be like a 100 OPS plus guy. Fine, right? You don't need him to be a whole lot more than that. But the fact that the things that aren't going to be tangible statistically, moving Luke Raley back to the outfield, allowing guys to get more days off, those are things that you can't measure. Like the health of guys that are now getting more DH days or more days off and whatnot. Luke Raley playing the outfield some more back to his natural position. You can't measure that, but because Rowdy is who he is, and like he's a first baseman, a left-handed first baseman, him and Luke filled a very similar role. And because of that, Luke now gets to move to the outfield. So this might be the unsung of the unsungest. The unsungest of the unsung?
The unsungiest.
Because you can't measure like the things that he brings to the team and the vibes. The vibes. He is such a vibes guy. He asked Perry Hill if he was wearing his Depends the other day. Like, he's just hilarious. He was saying that he was going to go take ground balls at shortstop yesterday.
Just for vibes.
Just because. Just because it's
vibes.
Rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, and I try to catch it for the most part and send it to Joe because Joe posted on Twitter. But he will get a ball off to his left side and he'll field it and then yell Jeter and throw it to second base. It's every single day.
A daily occurrence.
We thought it was just that one time thing. No, it has been every single day. He's a good vibes guy and he looks like me.
Apparently.
So, yeah. So I think that he is going to be the unsung hero. I think Luke Raley is another guy that I think makes a lot of sense.
There's a lot of guys. Like, I feel like any role player that maybe doesn't get enough love, even people in the bullpen. There's a swing man that gets you out of jams in the 7th inning. Like Colin Snyder could have been an unsung hero last year. Mm-hmm. If Gregory Santos is anything like we thought he could be, that's an unsung hero. Obviously, people that are paying attention will, sing their praises. But, thinking about maybe guys that are flying under the radar is kind of the unsung hero aspect of that. I thought about going someone in the bullpen, but I decided against it. So I just wanted to, before we move on to the Sai Young, to give some love to the bullpen because I feel like they get overshadowed in these a little bit because like picking pitchers isn't always the sexy thing to do. So maybe the bullpen is the unsungest hero.
You know what, Joe? You're right. So we're going to add another accolade here. Who's your reliever of the year?
My reliever of the year is going to be Gregory Santos.
Ooh, that's who I was going to say. Damn it.
See, you keep deferring. You should just say yours first. I really want who we traded for. You know, what the hell? We got Wolverine over there. I want present Lander to make his debut with the Mariners. We traded pre-Lander. It implies the existence of post-Lander. Where's present Lander, Baroa? We traded pre-Lander Baroa to be exactly who we needed him to be. Like, we traded for the guy that we needed him to turn into. And Gregory Santos, if he is that guy, he has the potential to be a reliever of the year type pitcher in the Mariners bullpen. Whether it's the first, second, or third head of the Hydra at the back end of that pen, any of them have a great chance at being a reliever of the year on this team.
I agree with that. And you mentioned those kind of back three. The other one is Matt Brash. It's not Andres Munoz, obviously. And I'm going to go with him. You know, the fact that he's coming back as early as it sounds like he is, as well, as long as he doesn't face any setbacks from between now and then, he is going to be, and we know he's not going to be able to pitch like back-to-back days right away. Like, it's just, they're going to take it a little bit slow with him because he's so valuable to this team, you can't have him get hurt again. But Matt Brash in the back end of your bullpen, Matt Brash, the slider god, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like I think that adding him back to this bullpen is going to stabilize that entire bullpen.
Yeah.
Because Munoz, obviously, we know is going to be the closer. Santos, like you just mentioned, a great setup guy as long as he's healthy. Snyder was a great setup guy last year, but probably fits in more as a seventh inning guy, right?
Sure.
Matt Brash is that bridge who could do literally all those things. And with him coming back as quickly as he is, I think that it says a lot about his work ethic. It says a lot about his progression so far since coming back from Tommy John surgery. And I think that from what I've seen from him, he's looked fine. I think that he will be the guy in the back end of that bullpen that really sets everything up and gets the ball out of the hands of my Sai Young, which is going to be Brian Wu.
Oh, okay.
In 2025. They're going to go from Brian Wu to Matt Brash to Gregory Santos to Andres Munoz.
Implying that Wu is getting pulled at 6 innings every single start.
Yeah, you know. But Brian Wu, man, that is a guy who, and who was it?
Foolish Bailey just posted.
Foolish, yeah. A great video, fantastic video about how the progression of Brian.
Was it on his Foolish Bailey or Foolish Baseball channel? Sorry,
I think it was on Foolish Baseball. Foolish Baseball, I think.
Okay, main channel vid.
The bit ball. I don't even
baseball
know.
bits.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And Brian Wu's a guy that honestly you could go with as the unsung hero last year, like in this rotation. He was so good. I think he had a lower walk rate or maybe K to walk rate than George Kirby. And he's just so smooth.
Buttery.
You know what I mean? He's buttery. And I think that as now the fourth guy in the rotation, obviously, because George Kirby is hurt, Brian Wu's a guy that I look to for a fully healthy season to have one hell of a year, and that's why I'm giving him my Cy Young.
Yeah. I was just going to triple down on the George Kirby again, but I can't because he's hurt. I mean, I could. I really could if he already threw. He's already thrown. So maybe he makes 27 starts. You could still win a Cy Young. Corbin Burns did it. All right. If Corbin Burns can do it and George Kirby gets a strikeout pitch, maybe not as much as Corbin Burns has, he could do it. But I will just go with the other pair. The other part of the other half of your coin, if you will, the other side. I will go with Bryce Miller. I will go with Mr. Cool Texas Man. If you're talking about someone who's smooth, he's got not even just the way he pitches, his air about him when he walks off the mound, that Texas strut. He's got it, and he's got the swag.
Sauce, what are you doing?
Bryce Miller is a guy that I know a lot of people are high on, and I think for good reason. He showed a lot of flash of being a premier type pitcher during I think just sporadically, not necessarily sporadically. It sounds like it's not consistent, but there was pockets of time in 2024 where he was the best pitcher on this team. Same thing with Brian Wu. Same thing with Logan Gilbert. I think the only pitcher that you could really say out of the core four was George Kirby. He had a good June and July, I think, but I don't think he was ever the best at any given moment during 2024. And so when you look at this rotation, I don't think there's a bad answer necessarily. You could say, I could have rocked up and said Luis Castillo, and I still would have some faith in it because he's Luis Castillo. If he can figure out a way to make sure that his changeup doesn't get absolutely tatered, then yeah, he could still be the strongest starter on this team any given night. But I will go with Bryce Miller. I like the way that he is progressing. I think the fact that his velo was up early in spring is a good sign if that fastball is going to ride faster and higher in the zone, like staying on that plane. And if it's faster, he's not going to be able to catch up to it. Added a cutter.
I think that's a really good shout.
Yeah.
Again, there's not a wrong answer. Unless you go with Emerson Hancock. That's probably the wrong answer.
Yeah.
But like
no disrespect.
No disrespect. He's just in a different league than the guys that are in this rotation right now. It's again, no disrespect to Emerson Hancock. I think he has a potential to have a great career. I think he has a potential to have like a Kyle Gibson career.
Which is serviceable, 160, great. 180 innings, major money, pitched in the bigs for a long time. Yeah.
Fantastic career if he can carve it out, and I think that's fine. But we're talking about guys that have like a chance to, I don't even know a good comp, but like
legitimately finish top 5 in the actual Sai Young race.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Every single year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is no other team can say that except for maybe, I guess, now the Dodgers.
Yeah. Phillies, maybe.
The Phillies are another good one. A big one. The most valuable player, Joe. So this is the last award we're going to give out here. And you and I have talked a little bit about this. And so I feel like we almost have to be in agreement on this one. But we'll see. Well, okay, that's not true. I was going to say it has to be Julio.
It has to be.
But this is not about who it needs to be. This is about who we think it will be.
Yeah.
And so while I think that has to be Julio, I think that it is honestly this year, I think it's Randy Arozarena.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Drinking the Randy Kool-Aid.
Dude, he is the most genuine dude. Like, I know at the beat, like when he first came over last year, he was a guy, I was kind of hard on him. I was like, it doesn't look like he wants to be here.
Yeah.
He wants to be here this year. Oh my God. He even today, second to last game of spring training, he was out there. Everyone else was in the dugout. Randy was still signing. Like, it's hard to like pin exactly the respect that I've gained for him over the past month that I've been down here. But he's a guy of everybody on this team. He's the one that I think has the chance to just, especially in a contract year, mind you.
Yeah.
And in the lineup he's comfortable with the team now. I think that Randy has a big year ahead of him. And while I don't necessarily, he's obviously not going to be he's not going to be the sexy pick. Julio's the sexy pick. Cal's the sexy pick. Randy, I think, could just kind of come out of nowhere and be the guy that really leads this team on a run late in the season, because we've seen what he can do in the playoffs.
I mean, playoff Randy's a thing, man.
It's a real thing. He's like better than Babe Ruth or something like that in the playoffs, or whoever it was. I don't even remember.
I mean, that run with the Rays was unfathomable how much he was able to produce. If you get a glimpse of that, if you can capture that for a 10-game stretch, he's going to win you 7 of those games, right? And that leaves out everyone else to not have to do really anything because he is doing it all. If he's a guy that puts it all together, I don't know what his ceiling looks like, because I don't know if is he going to go 30-20? Because 2020 he's penciled in for pretty much every year. Like, I'm not surprised at the 2020 stuff. Could he go for 30 in T-Mobile? I don't necessarily know. But what you're looking for is maybe more doubles, more just extra base hits in general. You want the slugging to be back up to where it was when he was a more successful player, because last year it was down a bit, right? As far as maybe dark horse picks for MVP, that's definitely, like, Randy's the one. he is the guy that, outside of Julio or Cal, I think has the capacity to compete with them on that plane. I unfortunately just think that Julio has every single tool that Randy has, but better, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah,
and I think Julio is boring, basic, layup, chalk answer. I don't care. My March Madness bracket's already cooked because I didn't go with enough chalk answers. I picked St. John's, ran my head into a wall. I know you picked Gonzaga, but like that was just a vibes pick, all right? Mine was a legit pick. I thought Rick Pitino was going to take St. John's to the chip, okay? Julio Rodriguez, he needs to be my chalk answer. He's Duke. He's Cooper Flag and Duke going to the Final Four, going to the championship, okay? He's the MVP. Yeah, step back three. Exactly. The new Selly. He has to go 30-30 again. He has to put up 6 wins. 6.5, 7 wins. It's just what he has to do. That home run that he hit today, the day that we're recording this, takes the pitch on the outside part of the plate and just launched that mother trucker. That is a swing of an MVP type player. We know what he can do when he gets hot in the summer. Is it sustainable in the beginning parts of the year, in the cold spring months in Seattle? He has to get over it. And if he does, he will be the team MVP and maybe even the American League MVP.
I mean, that's something they've talked about, and Julio himself has talked about, that he's been playing more this spring. Probably more at bats than he's ever gotten in spring, honestly, because he doesn't want to get off to this slow start. And he himself has kind of preached what Edgar and what Kevin Seitzer have said. Keep the ball low on a line. The rest will happen naturally, is kind of what they've been preaching. And Julio Rodriguez has been, very receptive to that. And I think, how could you not be, when you have Edgar Martinez as a guy who's helping you hit? Like that, if you're going to listen to anybody, he might be one of the best pure hitters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to listen to Edgar. And so, yeah, I think that, again, like you mentioned, he has to be. He has to be the MVP. He has to be the war leader. He has to be the best player, like in the American League West. If this team is going to get to where we think it should be and where we think they can go, Julio Rodriguez, the team goes as Julio goes, and that is unfortunately not an understatement. And yes, it's hard to say. It's hard to rely on one guy because, again, injuries happen. We saw it last year with the sprained ankle. Like we've seen it with this back a couple years ago in 2022. Like, injuries happen, but you need Julio to be the guy in 2025. And if he is anything like that, this team's going to go a long way.